So I am going to just be very brief in my introductions. Again, they have so many wonderful qualifications and accomplishments that I would read them and then it would be time to go downstairs to the party. So instead, I'm going to let you hear from these experts. But I'll start down there with Sharon Cobb. Sharon Cobb is a member of the Writers Guild of America. Her feature thriller, The Man in the White Van, co-written with director Warren Skeels, is scheduled for release in 2022. Sharon is the author of False Confessions of a True Hollywood Screenwriter and Secrets to Writing a Killer 48-Hour Film Project screenplay. And then I've got Monique Madrid. She's an indie film producer who co-created a comedy film festival called LOL Jax, the motto of which is Love Our Locals While Laughing Out Loud. She is the co-city producer of the Jacksonville 48-hour film project. Next, we have Alexa Went. Dropping my papers. Alexa is the president and creative director of Nicolex Productions, LLC, a company which produces YouTube and digital ads. She's a writer-director whose short films have premiered at local, national, and international film festivals, and Alexa has worked on Netflix shows as well. And I've got next Franklin Rich. Together with his mentor, cinematographer Britt McTammany, he's produced several short films and web series, assembling a tight crew of talented local artists. In 2014, he founded Last Resort Ideas, an independent studio, and his latest film, Artifice Girls, is upcoming in 2023. I'm going to ask you about that award you got. And last but not least, Ebony Payne English is executive director of the Performers Academy. She's a poet, author, and spoken word artist, and her film, Kwangoza, is winner of 2021 Detroit Black Film Festival. Did I say it right? Kwangoza. Thank you for the correction. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to start by asking you what the latest or most exciting film you've worked on is, especially if you wrote the screenplay. Okay, so I'm just going to pass this down, y'all.
So I can't say what the most exciting thing I've worked on is, because I'm excited about all of my projects, mainly because the act of creation is what I live for, is the opportunity to create something new. And so every project is my most exciting project at the time because it's the newest one. But in March, I have an action movie coming out. I play an assassin named Tanya. It's called Soul Hood Saga. And that's gonna be really cool for everybody to get to see me doing the badass stuff that I like to do. I can fight, a lot of people don't know that. And I'm very handy with a pistol. So that's cool. And then I have a full-length feature that I'm currently wrapping up called Queen Cobra. And it's the continuation of the story presented in Kwangoza. And we got funding for that, so I'm really excited to start filming.
Thank you. Yeah, like Ebony said, I think every project is equally exciting. You know, in the moment, it's always whatever's the most recent or the one that you're working on now. But the last film that I was lucky enough to get to make was a film called The Artifice Girl that had its world premiere this past summer in Montreal at Fantasia International Film Festival. We were very lucky to win the Golden Audience Award for Best International Film, which was crazy. But that was definitely a lot of fun for me to write and develop collaboratively during the production process. But writing it was really exciting. During COVID times, obviously you have a lot of time to write, And that story kind of came about. It really kind of grew because I tried to take a narrative that I had like shelved and said, is there a way to do this and produce this film in a way that is COVID safe, with as few actors and locations and crew as possible? And that kind of limitation ended up sort of fueling the creativity, which is what made the film what it is. And I hope you guys get to see it at some point. Thank you.
I am currently working on a feature film. It's called The Timber Remedy. I've got a good solid first draft, but I decided to pull a chunk of it out and do a short film / proof of concept, which Franklin actually read today and got some feedback, which is great. And I'm really looking forward to making that. It's definitely going to be a really big project. I feel like with everything we all work on, we're always like, how can we get this made? How can we get this done? And so that's one of the most exciting things that I've got coming up when it comes to that, with the more creative stuff. And then I also have some television commercials coming out, so for my company, which is really exciting. And that's about it.
So producer hat is the hat that I like the most to do. I like being behind the scenes, and because of the festivals I do, I'm very fortunate that people ask me to help with their projects. But I won't say it's my favorite project, but it's near and dear to me because I'm married to the filmmaker, so I'm slightly biased. And we were teenagers, and he always said, I'm gonna make a feature film. So to watch us as adults, him try and do that, I felt very honored to be a part of that process, and all the opportunities that the filmmakers in the community has allowed me to grow came to a great moment to be able to do my part to help him make that dream realize. It's called Let Me Be Corey. It is a raunchy comedy, so because we like comedy and we like raunch. So if you like, because he loves like Adam Sandler and Judd Apatow, so it's somewhere in that wheelhouse of kind of comedy, and the community was able to love us back and really help us with that project. So it's another reason why I like it, because it's like when we do a festival, it's our love letter to the community. Them helping us was their love letter to us. So we're in post-production. We got a cool musician, Jeremy Ryan, who just finished up writing the original soundtrack for that film. And we're hoping 2023 to put it out there, and I'm excited about that.
Good. Okay. All right. Hey, I'm Sharon, and I have a new film coming out in, well, we don't know when. You know, it's like that with films. Sometimes you don't know when they're going to be released, but it has gone through a couple of cuts, meaning supposedly finished, drafts in editing. It's called The Man in the White Van. And now the director, who is also my co-writer, Warren Skills, and I are going through some let's just say we're giving notes, is the best way I can say it, giving notes to the editor and the producers about a new ending that they want. So we'll see what happens with that, because I suspect they're going to probably shoot some stuff which nobody, that's a big surprise. You never know about how films get made, and so that's going, and then I'm working on another project with a former studio executive, and we're working on that. He's somebody who lives in LA, and there's some interesting things happening with that. So lots of, everybody's all busy. We're all busy, right? Yeah.
So the people in the audience are probably intrigued, and they're hearing all about your accomplishments. You're on the other end of the I want to be a screenwriter, producer, filmmaker spectrum. And for the beginners out there, tell us how you break into screenwriting. How can they go from dreaming about that to doing it? Any ideas? And on a local level, hopefully, which is how you guys are doing it. They're looking at me like, no clue. No, I bet you have great ideas.
For me, as someone who's been in the entertainment industry since I was 18 years old, that's 20 years of my life, it has never been one of those break into the industry for me. It hasn't been kind to me. I'm a Black woman from the South who didn't have at the time a startup budget. So nobody really wanted my scripts because my scripts are about my life and lived experiences. So I did it myself. And when I created something myself and I had faith in my own project, I found out my community had faith in me, and they were the ones who broke me into the industry, if you will, because they, saw the project and showed up in mass to see the project. And that allowed me to be able to push the project because I had numbers of viewers and fans of the work, which ultimately caused me to get booked to write other things. So that's really how it all happened. Everything about my career, even my poetry, was based on the support of people here in Duval County and in Tallahassee, just seeing me and believing in me, because I'm a conservatory trained actor. I've interned at every level, including Sony BMG in New York, and nobody wanted to give me a chance. No one, But it was y'all on some G. It was y'all.
Yeah, I think you need to have both the ambition to succeed, but also the initiative to apply to that. For me, yeah, you got to put in the work. You have to try and write as much as possible. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. The fact that you're writing is actively a part of the process. So write often. Find your people. That's a big thing. Make sure that whatever you're working on is an honest reflection of who you are. What are you bringing to the table that's different? And when you do that, when you're honest, and you'll find those people, or they'll find you, and that's it's not like breaking into the industry isn't trying to put something out there that people want to see. You want to provide something unique that's purely yourself. So I think that's, personally at least, I found that was how I got noticed, was because I tried to tell stories that I felt were personal reflections of myself and the experiences that I had and the people that I was collaborating with. And that's how we got noticed. Anyway.
This is how to break in, right? That's the question? All right, cool. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. Okay, so I would say step one when it comes to breaking into the industry, know your craft. You need to study, read lots of books about screenwriting. You can have talent, but talent's only 30%. The other 70%, you got to work really hard and make something really, really great. And you should always write for the reader, always. And then I would say the next step, once you have a killer script or you think it's killer, go send it off to your friends and colleagues, have them read it, they'll give it back to you, give you feedback, do a revision, then send it off to get professional coverage from people in Hollywood. There's Screencraft, there's Austin Film Festival, there's The Blacklist, there's all these avenues now you can submit online to get really great professional script coverage. It costs, but it's worth it. Once you have that, do another rewrite and then start submitting to some competitions. Those competitions get your name out there. They get you seen. They can get you managers. They can get you agents. If you're someone like, us, who's like producers, where we actually write stuff to make stuff, do the same process, and then, take your script and see what you can do to get it made, to get the money to get it made. And you got to be patient. And one of the best bits of advice I ever got from one of my mentors, and I feel like anyone who's creative can take this advice, no is a vitamin. No is a vitamin. When you hear that word, it will make you stronger. You just got to interpret it that way. Because when we're artists, unfortunately, we bare our souls, and then people are like, screw your soul. I don't care about your soul and your art. You got to be tough and you got to be diligent. And I think that diligence will get you far and get you to what you want to do.
So creating the film festival for me, I mean, I know they're talking about screenwriting, but that was my baby, so I feel easier talking about that. But how I got to create a film festival is I decided when opportunities wouldn't come to me, I was going to create my own table. And so I didn't know what I was doing. I just put pen to paper, but I knew I wanted to make something good, so I did exactly that. I did my research. I asked questions of people. I went to mentors, and I took my time. So when you're creating your own table or creating your own opportunities, please don't rush. I said it earlier today, you're in charge of your timing. Do it at your own pace. And I jokingly said, if Lin-Manuel Miranda made Hamilton in 7 years, don't let nobody rush you, because that was bomb sauce. Can't nobody tell me nothing about that. So I created my own table, created my own opportunities. I was unafraid of it, and I had a mission behind it. I feel like you have to, it sounds cliche, but you have to have your why when you're doing something. Like, don't just do it because I want to make money, or don't just do it because I want to get famous. Do it for the why. I chose to do the festival because at the time when I was starting out, because I'm older than these two, it wasn't diverse. It really wasn't. And then a lot of times, me and my husband were the only Black and brown people in the room. So we did it because we wanted to see like how our family is, very diverse and rainbow. We wanted that in the community. And because of it, we've seen a lot of filmmakers of, different orientations, a lot more women, a lot more filmmakers of color come out and mingle, and the community has just become a huge melting pot, and it's forever growing. And it's not just because of us, but that was the mission and the why. So create your own table and have your why.
Excellent. Let's see. When I started screenwriting, I know you probably, none of you were born by this time. It was like 1989 when I started screenwriting, and by 93 I knew I had to move to LA, and I did not want to go. I loved living here at the beach. I loved Jacksonville, but I moved, and that's what I had to do at the time. Fortunately, writers now don't have to do that. You've got all kinds of opportunities online, and some of the things that Alexa just talked about with Blacklist and all being discovered through these entities, you can do this. And I agree with everybody else about, the writing is really the thing. Keep writing, and you just have to do that. Build a community of people, of writers. There's a really great writers group here called First Draft. Yeah, First Draft, thank you. Writers group. And you can find them on, I think they're on, is it a Facebook? Yeah, Facebook. And so that's a good community of writers, I think. And one of the only thing I would just mention is if you're starting with screenwriting, why don't you start with some short films, short scripts, 10 pages or less. 5 to 10 pages, because there's a couple things. One thing is it's faster than waiting for months and months to write a feature script, and also you have a chance of getting that made into a film that you can see on the big screen in Jacksonville, maybe at the LOL Film Festival. Yeah.
You didn't even prepare to say that. That's great.
I wanted to mention Ink Tip too. Ink Tip's another really great resource for writers to get discovered. I think they do authors as well as screenwriters, so Ink Tip's another really great one.
Wow, we are learning so much here. I want to point out that there are opportunities to actually work on films here in Jacksonville, to learn how it's done, to see professionals like you guys in action. Brad and I are going to be in a raunchy comedy if we didn't get left on the cutting room floor. Okay. Put her on the spot. And I have been fortunate to work on a couple of Franklin's films, and am just an admirer of all of you. Sharon got us into 48-Hour Film Festival, and we wrote and produced a very horrible one, but it was so much fun. It was really bad, we confess, but you got to write the bad ones to get to the good ones, right? So tell us, what opportunities are there in Jacksonville to write, to be a PA, to act, and talk about Jax Film Bar? That was such an exciting and helpful place to go.
I know there's someone by the name of Dr. Sean Powell that lives here in Jacksonville that has a company where she places screenwriters and actors and stuff in the film industry. She works for HBO and a bunch of other places. Like, she flies back and forth from LA into Atlanta, and so a lot of opportunities that I've heard about from Dr. Sean Powell. She's Powerful Productions, and Hollandwood Films is her company.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to Jacksonville Film Bar, which it was so funny back, I guess it was 2018 or 2019 when I first went, and it was like 3 people. It was just a few of us who were getting together every Monday. They had started in Orlando. I don't think the Orlando one's even still operating, but we just get together every Monday evening at like a different location in Jacksonville, just to talk shop about filmmaking and stuff. But over the course of the past few years, that number went from 3 to 30. We've had groups where it's 50, and those numbers tend to sort of bounce between 20 and 50 now. And it's just been an incredible casual resource for people to just come and talk and network. And what I've found is that it's like, it's my ideal kind of social circumstance, because if you're at a party and you don't know like how to introduce yourself or talk to someone, at this kind of event you can go up to anybody and just be like, hi, you're in a film, I'm in a film, what do you do? And just spark up those conversations. So it's a great opportunity. I highly recommend anybody that's in any at all interested in any facet of film, whether it's costume design or dancing or especially writing, go to these places, talk to these filmmakers, because these might be the people that you end up collaborating with, or you give they read one of your scripts and they want to turn it into a film. They want to produce it or whatever. But again, don't go in it with that like approach. It's just a great place to network. And we also do film bar challenges as well. Quarterly, we give you like a prompt and see what kind of films people make of it, and then you get to watch it on a big screen, and it's a lot of fun.
That's where some of those short films that she talked about come to life, or through these film bar prompts. And tell us how. It's okay, I agree now. Tell us how they can find Jax Film Bar. Facebook.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, and if you don't have Facebook, I think there's a website somewhere where it lists our locations. We meet at a different place every week, and we cycle through every month. We meet at the same 4 places, and it's great. Come one, come all. Bring your friends. It's just a nice if you see me there, please come up and say hi, and I'll introduce you to people. It's just been a great resource for people to get connected in this community, and it's really helped along with LOL and all these other festivals. It's really kind of facilitated this community.
That's how I first met Sharon. Was somebody told me if you want to write films, you need to know Sharon. So I went to Jax Film Bar, and I just sat there talking to people, and I'm here to meet Sharon. Tell me when she comes in. And they did. Here she is.
So anyways, aside from that, just talk to people. It's a great community here. There's plenty of people who are wanting to read your stuff.
What was it? I'm sorry. What was it again?
What are the opportunities in Jacksonville to work in film, to learn how it's done?
Okay, there's a lot of great opportunities in Jacksonville, I would say, for narrative filmmaking. We've got a really great tight-knit community, but we also have a really great commercial community here too, where they film stuff for like money.com and like zebra.com, and there's commercial things that you can get on as well, where you can learn a lot of really great stuff. You know, I remember 3 years? Is it 2022? I don't even know. It's like 2019, 2018, something like that. I ended up going to a film bar. Well, there's BC, which is before COVID, and AC is after COVID, and anyway. So I went to a film bar, and that's where I met Franklin and Monique, and I met Sharon through Film Bar. It is a really great resource. That's where I met all of the collaborators that I work with today, which is really great. But it's not just Film Bar that's a good networking event, but LOL Jax is a good networking event. The 48-hour film challenge is a good networking event too. And then whenever you go to a networking event, you always just want to kind of approach it like, how can I help you? Not how can you help me? Make friends. Because when you make films, you're on set for, oh my God, guys, I worked 20 hours in one day once. It was insane. But you want to be friends with the people you work with. That is my point, because then it's more fun.
So one, Sean Powell, for sure. That's how I met some people too as well. So please tap into that. With LOL, the reason why they are very complimentary of saying that of me is because it's supporting the local community. My purpose or my why is if I can, show you love, maybe you'll stay in Jacksonville and maybe not want to move to Atlanta and LA, because people are doing stuff wonderfully here in Jacksonville. So we try to cultivate this environment. Not only are we celebrating different platforms, whether it's musicians, writers, comedians, artists, filmmakers, all these art forms, we kind of cultivate this environment to where we make it feel good to collaborate. I always tell people the simplest way to approach someone is if you see a film and you like it, look at the end of the credits and then ask somebody who that person is and introduce yourself and give them a compliment. And that starts a conversation. And so what we do is we make the environment to where you have fun with networking, and we make it a party vibe to where you don't feel that pressure. We even have spirits if it takes a spirit or two to get you to talk to people. But it's really great. And what we do is we try to love on the locals, and what we try to cultivate is, celebrate each other, geek on each other, and then if you like it, mix and collab. Musicians can totally get music videos done by filmmakers, and comedians could totally be writers for filmmakers and all these types of things, because we noticed that comedians would stay in their circle, filmmakers would stay in their circle, filmmakers would stay in their circle. So we try to force it to where it's you all blend together, and now a filmmaker instead of just staying in your comedy troupe. Now a musician instead of just staying in your writers group.
So they said it all. Well, just one note. In 2007, I think it was, the first 48-hour film competition came to Jacksonville. And if you don't know about the 48, then you really need to know about that, because that gives everybody, it gives everybody a chance to make a film. You form a little team and you make a film in 48 hours with whatever you got, And so that was the first time that I had been working in LA for years and had a different attitude about film. I mean, from the standpoint of I didn't think it was possible to make a short film in 48 hours. I really didn't think it was possible. And this showed me it was not only possible, some amazing work can happen in 48 hours, and everybody was inspiring everybody else. So the 48-hour film competition, for sure, you really, if you're interested in writing, you get involved with that. I think that is in June, maybe, or maybe it's going to be pushed. When is it?
Yeah, so we're hoping for it to be June, but we wanted to make sure that the opportunity was available for student writers as well. So we have to try to figure out the Zen, because when we did it last year, it was student filmmakers' times where they were having proms and all that. So we're hoping for June. But if you find us on Facebook and social media, we always post it well in advance to where you can kind of get your lives and figure out that weekend and kind of plan for that.
And then Film Bar, Jax, it's Jax, Jax, Film Bar Mondays on, I guess that's on Facebook and a couple of other places. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, there are like 1,200 members on Facebook, or maybe more now. And that's extraordinary for Jacksonville. And I just think that's wonderful. And like Frank, I think it was Franklin who said we have, anywhere from 30 to, I've counted 100 people at one film bar. So that's a fabulous way to get involved, whether that's, you want to work on a film or you want to write a film or any of that. So yes, we have a lot of opportunities in Jacksonville, people, that, I don't know where those opportunities are in LA. If you want to be paid and you have a long history of filmmaking or writing, yeah, that's great. And I'm a Writers Guild member, and I'm really grateful for that. But, I just think that we've got it going on here, Jacksonville.
Sorry, and one more plug about Film Bar. So on the on Facebook, it is mostly Jacksonville people, but there's also people from other cities that are actually in the group, and they'll sometimes come to Jacksonville and they say, hey, I'm making a film, I need this, and this, and it's usually positions. And so just look out, and they might be a writer, or they might need crew, and they're paying, or they're, wanting to do a passion project, and you can kind of jump on that. I met a young lady from Texas. I'm working on a short with her, Selena Nakaluka. We're actually going to film November 4th through 6th. She's from Texas, and she came to Jacksonville doing a short film called Mosquito, and she was able to pay all the cast and crew. And it was people in the community. She wanted to work with Jacksonville people. So there's people out there that are willing to bring, their stuff here or their money here. So be in the group and just kind of be on the lookout as well.
Did they pay the mosquito?
Yeah, mosquito. No, not not the mosquito.
Give the mic back to Sharon. We're going to start that and come this way.
Okay, thank you for coming, guys.
They are entertainment, so they have to go down and get ready for the
So we can go enjoy the entertainment. All right. Cool. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. No singing. Right.
So my question, and then honestly we are going to be out of time, but give us two things really. One question is, give your best advice to your one best piece of advice to aspiring filmmakers or script writers. And the second thing would be, if I forgot to ask you something that you have a burning desire to say, then say it, and then we'll be done. We'll all go down the park.
Okay. The best piece of advice, and I know you already know this, and they're all going to say the same thing, is never give up. That's just how it works. Do affirmations, whatever you need to do to make yourself feel better. Yeah, that's right. You got to support yourself, because at the very beginning of all this, some people will not help with you with anything. So you have to support yourself. And the only other little thing I'd mention is, if you're actively writing and stuff, I have some resources on my little website. It's called SharonYCobb.com, and it's under writers resources, and it has a little book, an ebook about how to write a screenplay and some other stuff. So, helpful, download for free, blah, blah, blah. So,
I said earlier this morning, seek feedback, not validation. And know the difference. You want that feedback because it'll help your story grow and get better, and you want the different perspectives because you want to tell the best story and tell the best truth to those characters. But I think people can get confused on, they like me. Don't worry about that. You know what I mean? If you're writing to write and it's because you love it, then that's all that matters. Don't worry about the fan club. That'll come later.
The best advice. I remembered this time. Okay, I think the best advice I could give you is to focus on you until the focus is on you. Okay, so you have complete control of when you write and how much you write, what you write. Your knowledge on writing, you have total control over that. It's free. All it costs is your energy and time. So you just focus on that, focus on what you can control, and everything else will fall into place. Also, for those of you who are interested in screenwriting, there are some books I'd like to suggest. You should read Sid Field's The Foundations of Screenwriting. It's great. Read Save the Cat, also good. If you're more experienced, read Writing for Emotional Impact. That book changed my life as a screenwriter. Writing for Emotional Impact. It literally gives you step-by-step tools of how to make your audience feel something, because it's our job to make them feel. They're on the emotional roller coaster for an hour and a half. We gotta bring it. So Writing for Emotional Impact. The Art of Dramatic Writing is another great one for character. The Art of Dramatic Writing, and Invisible Ink is another great one for theme. And what'd you mention earlier, Franklin? Story?
McKee's Story, and Robert McKee's Story, Stephen King's On Writing, and Aristotle's Poetics would be my recommendations.
All those are fantastic books, and just keep working on it. And also, too, one last thing, give yourselves time to daydream.
Oh, that's so, I love that.
So true, though. I specifically will just sit there, I'll listen to some music, and I'll just be like, give myself time to think. So, yeah.
My advice is don't get discouraged and follow your bliss. And if there's one thing that I would want to just sort of point out, I just think it speaks so true to where we are right now in our world when it comes to everybody can make art and everybody can make a film. If you have an iPad, you have everything you need to make a film. You can write a script on it, you can shoot video on it, you can edit that video together, and you can post it on YouTube and share it with the world. There's no excuse. If you're breathing, you can make art. If you don't have an iPad, come talk to me. We'll figure something out. Thank you.
For me, the advice would be don't do comparisons. Let them compare you to other artists, but you don't compare yourself, because everyone who is remembered followed their own guidance. Like when you think of the legendary filmmakers, what they will tell you is, I did it my way. I had to find my own way to tell stories. And so comparisons are very dangerous, and they take away your authenticity. And that's the best thing that I've ever done for myself, was to cut myself away from comparing my work. Nothing burning to say, except I think that Jacksonville is a wonderful place to make films. It has a history of filmmaking, and anything that they've tried to keep from the city, the artists have found a way to give to the city.